Now, back of the Sun newspaper today. How much is that Poggy in the window? Ralph Rangnick says we are about to see the best of Paul Pogba because he wants to shine in the shop window. And the Manchester United star was back this week in full training. So after picking up a thigh injury with France in the early parts of November. All new deal talks have been shelved, and United are happy to let their £89 million record signing leave for free this summer, reportedly. These are the quotes that Ralph Rangnick came up with. Even if it's only to show enough for a new contract elsewhere, he'll be highly motivated to do that. And why should I then not play him? He won't be available for the 2 games this week, but after the international break, he could be again. It's not a question of if a player has an expiring deal. The question is, how much does he still want to be a part of this group? As long as this is the case, why shouldn't Paul play 2.5 months of injury? He is fully fit and wants to show up. There is a difference in how players deal with their current situation. If they handle that in a professional, ambitious way, of course, I will play players with a contract expiring in the summer. Okay, so in short, basically, he's saying Paul Pogba potentially wants to leave. I'm still going to play him, even if that's the case. I suppose for Ralph Rangnick, his importance, even though he's going upstairs afterwards, his importance is his record while he is the manager at the time of Manchester United. And if Paul Pogba was one of his best players and he thinks he can get the best out of him, he's going to play him. The bit that for me which stuck out really, I would say, and I spoke to Ali about this earlier on, Gabby, is just outing the fact that he's in the shop window and that he wants to leave. It almost feels like he's saying, well, that's the last we're going to see of Paul Pogba in a way.
I don't blame him. I don't blame Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba is always unappreciated by a lot of Man United fans. Whenever he has a half-bad game, it's Paul Pogba getting hammered. No one else on the pitch gets any hammering off pundits, off Man United fans. Now Paul Pogba's been injured for a couple of months. You can't blame Paul Pogba for Manchester United form. You know, I'm sure people like Graham Souness and other pundits would love to still blame Paul Pogba, but you can't because he's been injured. So if I'm Paul Pogba, go and get your last 4 or 5 year contract at Real Madrid. Of course, get out of Manchester United. I don't blame him. I don't blame him at all.
Ali?
I think I've got to be honest and say I think Paul Pogba's been a massive disappointment for me at Manchester United. Gabby's right. He's not solely responsible, solely to blame for the downturn in Manchester United's problems. Of course he isn't. However, I don't think Paul Pogba, if you're talking about individual, could be happy with his level of performance and the job he's done at Manchester United. I think he looks happier and more comfortable in the French national team. I think he will move, and I think it probably suits all parties that he does move. However, Ralph Rangnick, again, is 100% correct. If he thinks it's to the benefit of Manchester United that Paul Pogba plays in the Manchester United team between now and the end of the season, then he's got every right and he should pick him.
There'd be some managers, Gabby, that wouldn't want to play a player that is running down his contract and you know he wants to leave.
Yeah, 100%. But Rangnick knows that Manchester United are a better team at the moment with Paul Pogba in the side, and he knows that they're in a battle to even get top 6, Laura, never mind top 4. You know what I mean? Manchester United could finish 7th and be playing the Europa Conference Cup Winners' Cup, whatever it's called. You know what I mean? So he knows that he needs everyone available. There's loads of players that are in bad form, Rashford, Sancho. So he knows that getting Pogba in there will probably give the team another lease of life. Look how many assists he's got. And he's only played a handful of games this season. He knows you might as well get the best out of him for the next 4 months. If he goes, he goes. Like there's other players that will probably leave Manchester United as well. And maybe, like Ali says, I think it is best for both the player and the club.
Yep. The best I saw Pogba, and I can remember seeing him, obviously in that French team that won the World Cup, were excellent when he had Kanté, and I can't remember who alongside him. Was it Matuidi that played alongside him in the middle of the park? I can't remember. Anyway, that was where I saw him at his best. He was comfortable, and he just looked at, he knew his position, he was comfortable with the players around him. Obviously in Italy, he was absolutely fantastic. He had a great period in Italy. I just think for a number of reasons, a combination of things, he just hasn't found, and injury is certainly one of them. He just hasn't found his true form at Manchester United.
Okay,
The
talking
media
on.
always
Sorry,
give him stick
you're
though,
going.
Laura.
Yeah,
if,
I know.
if you look at like the media since he's been here, Paul Pogba could walk out of his house with a pair of Louis Vuitton trainers on, and he'd be hammered for it. When other players could do 10 times more flashy things, and there's not a word said. So if I'm Paul Pogba, I want to get away from the English media, to be honest. I want to go to Real Madrid or another country and play my football where the media aren't as harsh on him. Paul Pogba, I think it was a few weeks ago, was in a car with a driver driving him around, and he's getting slated for it. What? You can't get in a car and have a driver because why? Why not?
You know what though? If he goes to Real Madrid, they can be harsh on their players as well. Gareth Bale, look what the media did to them.
Yeah, I believe they can.
Yeah,
Hazard
but
as
maybe
well.
because but they've been like, not especially Hazard. Look what he's done. He's not been performing. I think Pogba will go to Real Madrid. Mbappe will probably go there. He'll have the connection with Benzema. I think he'll shine there. Like you see Benzema. Benzema puts a different car on his Instagram every day, but no one says a word about him. Obviously because he's doing well, he's playing good football. But I just think the English media are just looking at Pogba. It was Sterling. It's Pogba. They pick on certain players and they go for you. There's players when I played that you're the one in the firing line, you're the one that they're after. So if I'm Paul Pogba, play the next 4 months and off you go, leave England.
Can I ask your thoughts on Jadon Sancho? Because Ralph Rangnick had a few things to say about him as well. This is on the back of the Times this morning. He's playing in a different league and is playing for one of the biggest clubs in the world. It's also got to do with a lot of the things up here in his head. Whenever I see him train, he's showing up and he's one of the best players. Now it's about showing the same kind of level on the pitch. Everyone expected from him that he would be one of the best players in the team. This is psychology, emotionally, a more challenging situation than the one at Dortmund. And these are exactly the kind of steps that he has to make to become a top player for the next 10 years at this club. What do we think about those quotes, especially those comments that Ralph Rangnick had to say, Ali?
He's right, but that's where Ralph Rangnick's got a job to do. He's got to help him through it. He's got to be the one. He's his coach, he's his manager. And he's right here when he says Sancho is a wonderful talent. He really is a wonderful talent. And people will probably say, well, wait a minute, he's played in a top flight in Germany. He's played with a big team in Germany. And he has. Absolutely. However, I think Gabby will agree. Manchester United, the focus on Manchester United is probably greater than it is on the vast majority of big clubs. And at this moment in time, he's still in a settling in period, and I can feel for him because I can see it. He's just not firing in all cylinders yet. There's a great player in there, and that great player will come back out. There's no doubt about it. But that's where he needs the help of his manager and his coach and the people around him.
How much harder does it get the longer it goes on like this, Gabby?
It will get harder, but the thing I think I see with Sancho is that when you look at his clips and you watched him at Dortmund, he's probably one of the top 2 players at Dortmund when he was there, himself and Haaland, I'd say. So when you're the top 2 players in the team, Ali, like, everything goes through you, doesn't it? You know, you've got that confidence of, you know what, if I make a mistake, it doesn't matter. I'm the top player at the club. He's come to Manchester United, and you've got players that have done a lot more in the game than him. You've got, Rashford, who's been in the team a long time. You've got Ronaldo in there. You've got all these winners in this Manchester United team. Matic, who won things at Chelsea. You've got big characters like Fernandes. And I think watching Sancho looks to me like he's playing like a 17-year-old who just got into the first team, Laura, who he's making mistakes and he's down and he can't get past the left back or right back, so he passes it back, and his confidence is low. He'll pass it back to the left back instead of taking him on 1v1. So for me, it's maybe like the manager's job and maybe bigger players in the team to say, don't worry about it if you lose the ball, don't worry about it if you don't get past him, try again. That's what he needs. He needs an arm around him, Sancho, because let's not forget, he's still a young player. He's not a senior pro. Just because he had a few years at Dortmund, we think that he's this experienced player, but he's still young and he needs an arm around him, I think.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Laura Woods, Monday to Wednesday mornings 6 till 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.